Good morning, everybody, and of course, welcome back to another episode of X Talking Ish with your boy X. If you are, of course, on Facebook, please make sure you like and share this broadcast. If you are on our Facebook page, go ahead and hit the like button as well. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit the red button to be, of course, subscribed to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. And as well, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out on Periscope or on our personal page, or my apologies, on our work page at X Talking Is, or on our personal page at X underscore Williams 81. All righty then, we appreciate y'all as always for tuning in. Of course, we are here to discuss week 11 of the pregame show here. Week 11, we are second half of the season. Of course, it's going to go by as quickly as first half of the season went, and really, this is what really matters more so is how you finish more than so how you start. We've seen plenty of times how teams have started hot and ended up pretty much burning themselves out before the playoffs get here. And we see teams start off slow and build that momentum throughout the second half of the season and making a playoff run and maybe even winning or getting to a Super Bowl. So it is possible to have that second half run. Realistically, we just got to figure out who's going to be one of those teams to do it. Of course, year in and year out, it usually seems like it's teams like the 49ers, maybe a team like the Cincinnati Bengals with a quarterback like Joe Burrow. Most likely, that won't happen this season due to Joe Burrow being out the rest of the season. And hey, who knows? Maybe even a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Watch out for them with, of course, Mike Tomlin leading the charge there. So it'd be interesting to see how everything plans out for the rest of this season. But that's why we're here, of course, talk about it. Week 11, we will be back on the show on Tuesday to recap Week 11 after all of the games are played. So let's go ahead and get right into the thick of things. And my apologies if y'all do hear anything in the background when it comes to my kids. They are up this Sunday morning, so hopefully they won't disturb us too much. So let's go ahead and, like I said, get right to the thick of things. Steelers versus Browns. Um, Obviously, the news that came out over the weekend, Deshaun Watson will be out for the rest of the season due to his shoulder surgery, meaning that DTR will be stepping back into the quarterback one position. Um, thing about the Browns, they of course have their defense. Their defense is going to be the main reason why they're going to be in a lot of these games. My question is now with Deshaun Watson um, out for the rest of the season, and when I be leading the charge, can DTR pick up the workload and be able to not just win this game, but be able to win games moving forward to be able to put the Browns position to go to the playoffs? I did state before in the midseason show that we did a couple weeks ago that the AFC North has an opportunity to be able to put in three, maybe even four teams in that division. Now, with all the injuries to mainly the quarterback position for that division, I think the Browns can find a way, but it's going to be tough. Um, I just don't know if they will be able to keep up with the Ravens as well, because of course how well they're playing, even though they are sometimes a little up and down. Um, right now, the two top teams I'm seeing in the AFC North are the Ravens and the Steelers, and that's mainly because of just the way that the Steelers are able to just win these games that they're not supposed to, with the coach that they have, with the team that they have, kind of winning in spite of the offense. Like it's weird what's going on in Pittsburgh right now, and because of what they have when it comes to the head coach is involved, the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I have to lean on them a little bit more so than the Browns. But if the Browns defense can continue to keep playing at a high level, they have to do two things. They have to create turnovers and they have to score on those turnovers to make sure that they help out this offense, not just today, but also, like I said, moving forward the rest of the season. Then I can see maybe the Browns finding a way to be able to stay in the playoff hunt. But for today, even though the Browns are 2-point favorite at home, I do see the Steelers coming in and finding a way to win this game in Cleveland. Again, even with the Browns probably, like I said, the defense as a whole probably is better, and also being at home is a reason why Cleveland is a 2-point favorite. But I have to look at the Steelers for doing Steeler things, and they will find a way to win this game just like they did last week. And let's take a look at the standings at the moment for that division, because again, that division is very bunched up. Ravens, after their win on Thursday night, are 8-3. Pittsburgh is 6-3. Cleveland is 6-3. So of course, this is a very, very important game for both teams. And then of course, you got Cleveland sitting at 5-5, which, like I said, without Joe Burrow, they kind of might be done. So it's really determining on these three teams in this division to see who's going to be able to play catch up with the Ravens. Um, if the Steelers are able to get this win, it puts them in a very, very comfortable position to be able to maybe pull off a wild card um, spot, either 5 or 6 within that conference, and find a way to maybe make a run in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and move on to the Cardinals and the Texans. Another team, another team that's on the lookout when it comes to maybe they can steal a wild card spot as well. That's Houston Texans. At the moment, they have 5 wins on the season, and who knows, that's maybe 2 or 3 more wins than a lot of people expected from them to have this upcoming season, but not me. If you did, of course, follow our pre our preseason show when it comes to talking about what the season might result in, especially when it comes to some of these wins and losses for these teams, I definitely did say that the Houston Texans have an opportunity to win at least 8-9 games. And of course, a lot of people looked at me crazy, and I'm gonna keep on bringing it up, but just it is what it is. Houston Texans are playing very, very well at this moment. This really should be one of those games where you should take care of business if you are a good team. But looking at the line for the teams that are playing for this weekend, there are a lot of trap games, and I do appreciate my boy Fracture One for bringing that up. He says, "Let's go Texans." This could be a trap game. It's not just a trap game for the Houston Texans. There's a lot of trap games out here for a lot of different teams. Because if you look at the schedule for the rest of the slate, there are a lot of games where a lot of good teams should be beating up on bad teams. Keyword should. So, with that being said, there might be an upset or two out here on Sunday. There shouldn't be, because again, if some of these teams that we look at, and I'll get to them shortly, but if we look at these teams as teams that are supposed to be in the playoffs, teams that are supposed to, again, just be better than some of these teams that are at least a 10-point favorite should. I mean, there's a team that's an 8.5-point favorite. Again, I'll get into them shortly, where they should win that game. But these are professional athletes or professional men that don't give a damn about what Vegas say, and don't give a damn about who's in front of them when it comes to stopping what they're trying to get accomplished for this day. So the Cardinals as a whole have been playing very, very, I wouldn't say solid football, but just emotionally charged football. I guess that's the best words I can use, because they go out there and they go play hard. They don't win a lot of games, of course, but they do go out there, play hard, and they find ways to stay in games they're not supposed to. They are 2-8 on the season. They easily probably could have won 3 or 4 games, but like we talk about on the show all the time, due to probably draft positioning, it's the reason why they are 2-8. The Texans, I do see them winning this game, especially at home. You are a 5.5-point favorite. You are coming off of a big win last week. You are the better team. This is a game that if you, as a Houston Texans fan base, if you want everybody else to take y'all seriously, and the Cardinals shouldn't be a team that everybody says, "Oh, look, the Texans beat the Cardinals, so we got to take them seriously." No. It's about not losing to the Cardinals. Don't lose to the Cardinals, and then people won't say, "Oh, look, there goes the same old Texans losing a game they're not supposed to." Overall, Texans are a better team. Overall, better coaching staff. Overall, you should win this game. If you don't, then hey, I don't know what to tell you. It should be a easy layup type of game for the Houston Texans there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Titans and the Jaguars. And of course, this is Derrick Henry's homecoming. And you know what happens anytime Derrick Henry decides to show back up in Florida, especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He likes to put on a show, and that's an understatement when it comes to the things he's done to these Pussycats, aka the Jaguars. But that was in the past. That was in the past, and not saying Derrick Henry has done that, and not saying that at all. Derrick Henry is number 2 in rushing at this moment at week 11. So Derrick Henry can definitely, if he wants to, put up a 200-yard performance. I don't see that happening, but if he wants to, he could definitely go off. But the way that the Jaguars playing, the way that the Titans are playing, you have to give the nod to the Jaguars. Jaguars as a whole are just a better team. The Titans, they just don't seem like they are really in it for this year, and might seem like we need to get ready for next year. Yes, Will Levis will be starting this game, but Will Levis really is not the savior for this season. I know a lot of people want to see him play and want to see what he can do. He's a good quarterback. You know, I'm not saying that he's quote unquote trash or a bum. I personally just don't think that he's a franchise changer, a franchise guy that's going to get you to at least a conference championship game in his tenure. Uh, I think he has a good arm, and you know he throws a really good deep ball. That's cool, but all those other little small things, I just really haven't seen him be able to do just yet. I have no problem being proven wrong. I felt the same way about Ryan Tannehill. When Ryan Tannehill came to the Tennessee Titans, a lot of people thought I was hating because I didn't jump on the Ryan Tannehill bandwagon. Well, hey, here we are, right back once again, starting back over from scratch, it seems as though. And if Will Levis or, of course, Malik Willis doesn't get the job done, then Tennessee Titans might have to be looking for another receiver. I mean, another quarterback. Might not be this year, but maybe next year. And the pickings for the quarterback might not be as plentiful as it is this upcoming season. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens with the Tennessee Titans because they could be setting themselves up for from very very horrible years going into this new stadium that they plan on opening up. So be interesting to see what happens with those guys. The Jacksonville Jaguars, like I said, this is a game you're supposed to take care of business. You're at home. You're supposed to be winning the division. If you don't win this game, Texans are right on your heels. They are just a game back. Texans are just a game back, and they can find a way to not just be in the lead of this division, but maybe even win the division. So see how that all plays out. Raiders versus the Dolphins. Again, the theme of this Sunday is teams that are supposed to take care of business. You need to take care of business. Now, of course, obviously, we know the Raiders have switched over from head coaches from Josh McDaniels now to Antonio Pierce. The Raiders have won back-to-back games now since that change, but they were two teams that they probably should have beat in the first place, and that's the New York Giants and the New York Jets. I think this is a very, very good test for them today, going to the East Coast, playing against the Miami Dolphins, being a 14-point underdog. Um, this is going to be very interesting, and I think not just for the Raiders, but for the Dolphins as well too, right? We keep wanting to throw the Dolphins in this elite tier, kind of the same with Josh Allen. It's just something about this AFC East, like we're so infatuated with this division, and they just do not pan out the way that we thought that they were going to pan out, starting with the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, and it just been a trickle down effect. The rest of that division has been very weird, but hey, here we are. Obviously, New England is New England right now for this season, and I'm not talking about it in a good way at all. Like I said, the Jets only have 4 wins in the season. Buffalo is 500, and Miami is 6-3. So again, this division is not what we thought it was going to be. This knock them out, drag them out, black and blue type of division that we were kind of hoping, expecting it to be. It is not that at all. But I will say the Buffalo Bills, they're right there. They have an opportunity to find a way to snatch victory from the hands of defeat from the Dolphins if they don't want to take this division. And this is a game where they need to separate themselves from the Buffalo Bills and take advantage of the shortcomings for the Buffalo Bills not being able to get the job done on their end last week. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Panthers and the Cowboys. I know you're sensing a theme here, everybody. I know I'm not trying to say this Sunday is going to be a boring Sunday, but if these better teams take care of business, if you're betting out here, you should get you some money in your pocket because again, some of these teams need to take care of business. Cowboys, don't let y'all lose to the Panthers. Don't let this team lose to the Panthers. They should not lose to this team because we're gonna hear all the back and forth on social media from Cowboy fans talking about why they're talking about us to everybody else talking about how the Cowboys suck and this, that, and third and blah blah blah. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen, Cowboys. Y'all beat the Giants like y'all were supposed to last week. Come back and do it again. I'm expecting Dak and the rest of the wide receiver crew to have a decent performance. I'm all in on the wide receiver group. I'm expecting CD to have another 100 yards, Michael Gallup, and also Mr. Cooks to be able to put on at least minimum 50-yard performances by both of those guys. And again, we'll get into it when it comes to my prize picks for later on in this show. But the Cowboys wide receivers, like I said, they should have a decent performance, and if not, then are we gonna have to reevaluate how we look at the Dallas Cowboys moving forward? I surely would hope not, because of just what we expect from them. Like, we expect them to get to the playoffs, right? We expect them to find a way to compete for a playoff win. We just don't know if they're going to get it or not. That's the thing. Cowboys, we don't really judge you guys on what you do in the regular season. Regular season accolades mean nothing for this organization. It's all about what they do in the postseason. So we'll see what they look like in the postseason. But for right now, for today, for Sunday, 10.5-point favorite on the road. Take care of business. If not, Stephen A. Smith will be seeing you guys soon. He'll be seeing you guys on Monday morning. So I'll leave it at that. But I don't expect the Cowboys to drop the ball on that one. All right, Bears versus the Lions. One of the oldest rivalries in the league. Of course, the NFC North here, battling it out. Return of Justin Fields as well for the Bears. And I know, of course, after the honeymoon of Mr. Baggett, I know a lot of people assume that, he could maybe be the next quarterback for the Bears and this, that, and third. That's the reason why he was that far on the depth chart. It's the reason why he played at D3's college. That's the reason why he got drafted where he got drafted at, okay? I know everybody wants to see the Cinderella story. He wants to see the next guy that can maybe be the Brady, that can be this, that could be that. Guys, Baggett isn't that. He wasn't that. He's not going to be that. Maybe not for this year, because again, he's a rookie. Maybe he could be that 3 or 4. But for anybody to cut to, if you thought that Baggett was a better quarterback than Justin Fields, and you actually watch football, I'm gonna need you to give your football card back, because a lot of this Justin Fields hate, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just you don't care for the guy, you don't like. I don't know what it is, but Justin Fields is a serviceable quarterback for the Bears. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we're talking about the team. We're talking about the player that plays on a team, right? We're not talking about Justin Fields, top quarterback in the NFL. I'm looking at Justin Fields and how he's able to produce for this organization. Because if you look at the history for the organization, the quarterback play has been trash since their last Super Bowl win, and that was back, of course, in '85 with Jim McMahon. The quarterback play, even with Jay Cutler, when he was there, yeah, he performed well, but he didn't even get to a Pro Bowl as a quarterback there with the Bears. Surprisingly, the last Pro Bowl quarterback for the Bears was Mitch Trubisky, which makes you want to scratch your head, right? But it's the truth. And if we look at just the number of quarterbacks that have gone in and out of this facility, Justin Fields is holding his own. I don't know if he will be there next season, because obviously the Bears are in position to maybe draft themselves another quarterback next year and maybe let Justin Fields go off elsewhere. Who knows? Maybe to Atlanta. I know, of course, rumblings we talk about all the time here, and maybe in Atlanta. Who knows? Maybe in Arizona. They might want to move on from Kyler Murray, or maybe the Arizona Cardinals might want to look into the draft as well too. Again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out, because I think Justin Fields can play. He just needs an opportunity that's not going to make him sit behind a trash offensive line and be on the floor about 3 downs out of the 4, and not allow him to be able to show how great of a quarterback that he really can be. I think that he can be a good quarterback in this league. He just needs a little bit more help here and there. After that, then we'll see if we, the way that we can actually judge him as a quarterback. But if he wants to have a successful career in the NFL, he might need to get out of Chicago. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Chargers and the Packers. Um, Now, this game maybe about 10 years ago, Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers. This would probably be a pretty decent game, but this ain't 2013 anymore. So we have what we have. We have, of course, Mr. Herbie versus Jordan Love. And, of course, the up and downness of the Chargers is normal, 4-5 on the season. Easily could be 5-4, easily could be 6-3, easily could be 3-6, right? It's just that's the way of the Chargers, the way of Brandon Staley. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because even though the Chargers are a 3-point road favorite, I think they honestly should be a little bit higher because overall, like again, the Chargers are a better team. Just for whatever reason, the Chargers can't bring all these damn pieces together. That's the main issue. And for the Packers, they have a lot of holes, and no pun intended when it comes to them being cheeseheads and having holes in their game on both sides of the ball. It is what it is, and Jordan Love was not going to be able to come in and replace all of the holes like an Aaron Rodgers was able to over the last couple of years, being an MVP player while being able to make up for the deficiencies within the organization. Jordan Love just was not going to be able to do that. His job was going to be able to come in here and play quarterback at the starter level for at least 1 year and then be able to gain that experience and then go from there moving forward. But to be able to expect the same type of value that Aaron Rodgers brought, if you assume that Jordan Love was going to be able to replicate what Aaron Rodgers was doing, that's just asinine because of just the impact Aaron Rodgers has, not just on the offensive line, the wide receivers, the offense as a whole. It's the whole organization. We obviously seen the transition. This is before the Achilles pop, but we've seen the transition, him going from Green Bay to New York and how that whole organization changed face on how they view themselves. That's something that the aura of Aaron Rodgers is able to bring in comparison to Jordan Love at this point for Jordan Love. So for me right now, the Chargers, this is a game where you should win this game. Now, the Packers defense, they do step up. My thing is can the Packers offense step up? I just don't know. That's why I have to take the Chargers in this game. And we'll, of course, see how that all plays out later on today. Giants versus the Commanders, the team I was talking about earlier when it comes to having an 8.5-point favorite when it comes to line-wise for them playing against a bad Giants team. The Giants, I'm not saying they're waving the white flag for this season, but I am saying that might need to go ahead and pack it up and get ready for Cancun because the season is pretty much over with. For the Commanders, they're kind of looking out, kind of like with the Pittsburgh Steelers when it comes to certain teams that they play. If they had full strength and they were going up against this team, they might not be able to beat this team. But Commanders are 4-6 at the moment with the passing leader, Mr. Sam Howell, leading the charge. And I'll just leave it at this. And I will have to give my kudos to my uncle, Mr. Jason Williams out here, because he did speak about and I've spoken about offensive coordinators really being an important role when it comes to the offense and how a quarterback is able to perform. One of the main examples I usually use is Josh Allen and how he's performing now and how he's performed with Brian Daboll as his offensive coordinator, how he performed previously when Brian Daboll wasn't there. We're seeing, of course, what Eric Bieniemy brought from Kansas City, even though it's still Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're going to find a way, right? But Eric Bieniemy made it a lot easier for both of those guys to be able to find that way. Now that Eric Bieniemy is with Washington, if you look at the passing numbers, Eric Bieniemy's out here doing his job. He's been able to take his opportunity with Washington and run with it. he's able to end the season off with another great opportunity. I mean, another great performance on the offensive side of the ball. It's going to be very hard to deny and say that he's not a part of this either Kansas City success, Washington Commanders success, or just overall offensively success when it comes to the packages that he can put out there on the field and make players successful, quarterback and wide receivers alone. I expect Eric Bieniemy sooner rather than later to have some type of head coaching opportunity come up. We all know, of course, he's been on interviews, and of course the rumblings are saying that he's not a good interviewer, and that's understandable. That's fine. But last time I checked, being a head coach, not really. I don't think it's not really about how you perform in the interview. It's about how you connect with these players. But hey, what do I know when it comes to football? But uh, it's going to be very hard to keep on denying a guy like Eric Bieniemy an opportunity to be a head coach. Now, who knows? Maybe he might just be a career coordinator, right? We've seen it time and time again. Some guys are try to be a head coach and it fails, and they're just better as a coordinator. But for Eric Bieniemy, if he never gets the opportunity to become a head coach, we're never going to know if he can be a successful head coach or not. So, hoping the best for Eric Bieniemy when it comes to at least getting an opportunity, and after that, we can then see if he's not that great at communicating with other players. We'll see from there. Buccaneers and the 49ers. I know, again, you're sensing the theme. Not even going to be the dead horse. Not even going to spend too much time on this one. Baker Mayfield has been playing well this season. I'm not even going to knock him. I think he's exceeded expectations for himself and also for this Buccaneers team. Even though the Buccaneers are 4-5 at the moment, they are half a game back from the Saints winning the division. Like they are right there in the thick of things when it comes to maybe being able to pull off one of the bigger divisional upsets of the season, because I know a lot of people did not expect the Bucks to be in this position. I know I expected Todd Bowles to be fired so far before the season was over because of just how I didn't have any type of belief in the Bucks' upcoming season. But they have proven me wrong so far. Again, in the first half of the season, we'll see how you guys finish everything out. But for the Buccaneers, this is a very, very tough task. Just like I talked about earlier with the Raiders traveling from the East Coast to the West Coast. Now you have a team going from the West Coast to the East Coast and playing up against a very, very, very motivated 49ers team that feels like they are getting their pieces back at the right time. Chase Young, of course, his first game was last week. Even though he's not putting up the type of stats that he probably would put up with the Washington Commanders, he's fitting in as he should on that defensive line to be able to make plays and be able to continue with the depth on that line. And I expect the 49ers to win this game by at least 2 touchdowns. Like this shouldn't even be a game. The only reason why the Buccaneers are able to stay in this game and keep this game competitive is if they are able to control the line of scrimmage, run the ball, keep the ball away from the 49ers, and manage that clock. If they are able to do that, yes, they can keep it close. Who knows? Maybe even be within 13 points of the spread. But overall, the 49ers are just a better team, and they just got to take care of business at home. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this Bills and the Jets game. Now, the Bills are a 7.5-point favorite at home. The Jets do not have Aaron Rodgers. So usually you would say that this should be an easy game for the Bills. But not so fast, my friend. The reason why I say this is because I think we got to stop looking at the Bills as this team that we think that maybe the Kansas City Chiefs are, or even the Baltimore Ravens are, or, just a team that take care of business in the regular season. Because we already know when the Bills get to the postseason, they're going to fuck it up anyways, right? Like, we're not even worried about what they do in the postseason. But now they're getting to a point in this regular season right now to where, can we even trust you guys in the regular season? They are, like I said earlier, they are 5-5, sitting at 500 at the moment, and not too many happy campers in that locker room, I'm pretty sure, and it's not just Stephon Diggs. I know a lot of people want to point fingers at Stephon Diggs. I'm pretty sure it's everybody. I'm pretty sure it's both sides of the ball. I'm pretty sure it's other wide receivers that are probably looking around like, why are we 5-5 at this point? We should have at least 7 wins, maybe even 8 wins. But I will say this for the Bills. Last, 3 years or so, we've seen them win a lot of regular season games and then amount to shit in the postseason. Sometimes when you go through adverse times, especially throughout the season, it helps you build as a team once you get to the postseason. So when you do run into some adversity, you know how to handle it a lot better than if you was to run into it as a undefeated team or a team that's only lost one game on the season. So, excuse me. So for me, the way I look at this game is I don't care that the Bills are a 7.5-point favorite. I think that the Jets are going to find a way to do what I want the Buccaneers to do in the 49ers game, and that's play keep away, that's run the ball, and that's hopefully allow Zach Wilson to not be the savior for this game. And I think the Jets are going to find a way to pull off a nice little upset in New York and come in there and win a very, very low scoring game. And unfortunately, maybe even see even more rumblings of what's going on inside of Buffalo, especially they are up under the 500 mark going into week 12. Seahawks and Rams. Rams are a 2-point favorite, which is kind of surprising, even though, yes, the Rams are a decent team and have no, you know what? I'm not even gonna sugarcoat this. I don't understand why the Rams are a 2-point favorite. Rams are 3-6. The Seattle Seahawks are 6-3. Even though yes, the Seahawks are coming into LA. No disrespect to the Rams, but when the hell has the Rams ever have had their own home field advantage? Especially teams like against the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Raiders. Last time I checked, the Seahawks have their 12th man. They travel and they will be in full effect in LA. And I'm not saying that just because the Rams are playing at home that home field will take over and them being a 2-point favorite matters. I really don't see it. I think the Seahawks should easily be maybe a 3-point favorite on the road. And if I'm a betting man and I'm able to bet on DraftKings or FanDuel, I'm taking the points. I'm taking an opportunity to be able to, I'm taking the money line straight out when it comes to the Seahawks being able to win this game because I definitely feel like they can win this game. Yes, of course, the Rams have Cooper Kupp back. Of course, Puka has been playing well, but just overall, the Rams, this is not the Rams Super Bowl year. This is not a Rams team that they are intimidating due to Aaron Donald. This is a completely different skeleton crew type of Rams team that's just not who they once were. And I don't see why the Seahawks can't come in here and win this game. So for myself, I'm going with the Seahawks. It'd be interesting to see who my boy Ish takes in this game. But for myself, the Rams, man, they just have not performed this season. And watch out for Sean McVay. Sean McVay, he needs to be on that conversation for maybe the hot seat as well for maybe not this year, but next year. If you don't get it together, maybe they might bring somebody else in that can. Vikings versus Broncos, Sunday night football game. My apologies. All the days of the week. Of course, this is Thanksgiving week, so we will have football today, tomorrow, or Thursday. Got a Black Friday game. Do we have a game on Saturday? Let me double check. Do we have a game on Saturday too? On Saturday. Let's see, week 12. Let's see. I want to check for everybody. Okay, so we have we have 3 Thursday games, we have a Friday game, we have all the rest of the games on Sunday, and then of course the Monday night football game. So this upcoming week is gonna be a feast full of games. I think I will of course be back on Tuesday morning to preview those Thursday Thanksgiving games. I'll be on here for about 10-15 minutes talking about that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of football on this upcoming week. If you're a betting man, go ahead and make you guys some money. But for myself, for this game, for the Vikings and Broncos, Of course, unfortunately, there will be no Kirk Cousins leading the helm for the Vikings, but they do have Mr. Joshua Dobbs, who has been performing relatively pretty well, coming in and being the serviceable quarterback that is expected for him to be, because that's who he is, and that's what he's always has been when it comes to just coming into a team and playing just good, sound football. I think the Broncos, maybe they're finding something over there. I'm trying to figure it out myself too, because again, if you look at numbers wise for Russ, like Russ really isn't playing bad. It's not him. It's not even really just like singling out the defense. It's really not that. It's just I, maybe they just got off to a little shaky start, and just things just they were trying to figure things out, and that's a part of football too. That's part of sports in general. You bring pieces together. It's not going to look good in the first half of the season. But once you finally start figuring everything out, maybe this Broncos team might be one of those teams I talk about when it comes to the second half push and make it a run. Russ on the season so far, 178 for 262, 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Russ is cooking. Again, we could joke about all we want to with Les Ride and Sierra, and Russ ain't the same anymore, and this, that, and third. Russ is doing his part. So shout out to him. Shout out to the team for being able to get Jared Judy back to calming the hell down after that Steve Smith situation and whatnot. So for myself, I want to take the Broncos. They are at home. And I think the Vikings with Josh Dobbs magic, I think that's going to fizzle out a little bit for this game. Again, not saying that Josh Dobbs is bad, not saying any of that. I just think that with Josh putting more and more tape on, more and more teams are going to see what he likes to do, what he doesn't like to do. And for the Broncos, they have a good enough defense to be able to slow some of these things down to ensure that they're not going to be another casualty in this Josh Dobbs miraculous insanity type of season that Josh Dobbs is having at this moment. So I have the Denver Broncos winning this game. If Kirk Cousins was playing, probably would have the Vikings. But at this point in time, Denver Broncos able to find a way to maybe win a game that, if you look back on the schedule earlier this season, you probably would think that this is not a game that the Broncos were going to win. So welcome to football. It's a part of the football world, and that's just how it is. All right, we'll go ahead and end it off with, if I was a betting man, of course, you already know the prize pick. Promo code is PR-JVA61PN. And, of course, if you use our promo code, you get a free $25 towards your play there on prize pick. So, of course, go ahead and use that promo code, get you some free $25, and see if you can win a couple of dollars there on prize picks. And for today, my prize pick selection will be, in this we just talked about, of course, that Sunday night football game. I cannot speak today at all. Mr. TJ Hawkinson, I expect him to be a safety blanket for Mr. Dobbs. I got him going over 55.5 receiving yards. I have Terry McLaurin going over 60.5 receiving yards as well, too. Again, I like that matchup with the Giants against TJ. I'm sorry, Terry, my apologies. I think he can take care of business against the Giants. I got Tyreek Hill over 7 receptions going up against the Raiders. I got Jerome Ford going over 13.5 rushing attempts for that Browns game. Again, I expect that Browns-Steelers game to be what an AFC North game is expected to be. Black and blue, running the ball a little bit more than passing. So just looking at it that way, Baker Mayfield over 10.5 rushing yards, and also Bryce Young going over 10.5 rushing yards. I think those are two things that are capable, especially with those defenses trying to come in on those two guys. I think they find a way to sneak out of the pocket and get a couple yards on the ground, and hopefully we can win us a little bit of monies. If you want to tell that, you guys are more than welcome to. Another slip that I have as well for today that I didn't bring up on here, but I did talk about it earlier in the show when it comes to the Cowboys just doing their thing. I have Michael Gallup going over 19.5 receiving yards. I have Brandon Cooks going over 35.5 receiving yards. I have CeeDee Lamb going over 84.5 receiving yards. CeeDee Lamb has caught for, I'm sorry, has had at least 100 receiving yards in the last 4 games. I feel like that is kind of a lock, especially against Carolina. As Tony Pollard under 16 rushing attempts, he has not carried the ball more than 16 times in the last 5 games. I'm hoping that should be a lock there. And as well as Amon-Ra St. Brown, I have him going over 84.5 receiving yards against the Chicago Bears. So again, and also I have Jerome Ford on that list as well for going over 13.5 rushing attempts. So again, you could tell either one make you guys some money, or you can say fuck me. I ain't listening to you. Actually, I want to pick my own stuff, and that's completely fine with me. I have no problems with that at all. Because if you lose, you ain't gotta blame me, and if you win, you ain't gotta thank me. So do what you do, but watch my shoes, and you can get it loose if you don't watch my shoes. So with that being said, we appreciate y'all as always. We will be back on Tuesday to recap week 11. And of course, get everybody ready for Turkey Day on Thursday. Hope everybody have a great Sunday. Hope you guys are able to see your family, kiss them and whatnot. And this is what football is all about. This upcoming week, baby. Food, family, and football, baby. That's what this season is all about. The 3 Fs, and we appreciate y'all once again. We will see y'all on Tuesday here at X Talk English. Thank you.